What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. Tonight we're going to talk about gaming. We're going to talk about the Xbox One, the finalized details that we know, and what this means for gaming in the future and gaming as a hobby. And if you are a gamer, this is an important video for you. If you know somebody who is a gamer, I think it's an important video for them. I think they need to be made aware of this stuff. I think they need to listen to it. I think I have a very good point of view. And I'm not expecting you to sit here and stare at me the entire time we do this video. I suggest that you Alt-Tab out, you play a little Minecraft, you play a little World of Warcraft, you play a little League of Legends, you grab your Vista or DS or whatever fucking gaming, your iPad and play Kingdom Rush, whatever. Just listen. That's all you got to do is listen. You don't have to watch, just listen. I want to give you a little bit of internet history, gaming history, and my personal history here so that you can understand where I'm coming from. The very first gaming console I ever owned was the Atari 2600. And one of the most beautiful parts about the Atari 2600 was the fact that it was cartridge-based. All of these games came on cartridges. Now, the previous games before that, Pong and stuff like that, when you bought a Pong system, all you got was Pong. But when you bought an Atari 2600, you had the capacity to plug cartridges into the system. And so I might buy a copy of Mousetrap, which is a very popular game on the Atari 2600, and my friend had a copy of Haunted House. And when I was done with Mousetrap and he was done with Haunted House, we could trade and we could enjoy each other's games. We could talk about the games. We could sit together with the two controllers in our hands, and we could play combat against one another, and we could have this wonderful time experiencing it. It was a very social experience. And being able to trade games added to that. The ability to loan each other games was important, and it was beautiful. The Nintendo Entertainment System, exactly the same thing. The Super Nintendo Entertainment System, exactly the same thing. Even right now, in my living room, is a borrowed copy of Super Smash Bros. On loan from my friend Jason Kemper. And just tonight, my friend James asked me if I had a copy of Fire Emblem, because he'd like to try it before he bought it. And I said, of course. In fact, he could borrow it for a couple nights to get used to the game, to see if it was his kind of thing, because I was currently involved in something else. That social aspect of gaming is huge to me, for three major reasons. Number one, it's fun. This is why I'm passionate about gaming, and my friends are passionate about gaming, and it's wonderful. It's so wonderful to share that with people that I care about and who I love and who love me. And the Xbox One has done away with this. Secondly, not all of us are made of money. Not all of us have a somewhat successful YouTube channel and can afford most of the games that they want to play. Some of my friends can only afford a game a month, maybe 2 games a month. And this gives me the capacity to loan out games or to borrow games that I can't afford. And that's important to me because I can't afford to throw all of my money at gaming. I've got a wedding to pay for. I've got YouTube props to buy. I've got video equipment to buy. I donate to charity. I've got uses for my money. I can't throw it all at gaming. I've got a limited amount that I can to give to gaming. And the third reason I think it's important to me is exactly the case that James gave. I can try before I buy. I can borrow a game, decide that I like it, then go buy it. I can rent a game from Redbox. I can play it for a while. I can decide whether or not I like it, and then I can go buy it. Once again, money. And that's what all this is about, by the way. It's all about money. They tell you to follow the money, and if you follow the money right here, right now, it leads right into Microsoft's pockets. It absolutely does. But that's a whole other thing. Let's talk about what the other gaming companies are doing. Let's talk about the 360 for a minute first. The Xbox 360. I loved my 360. You know, I pretend I hate it for my YouTube channel, but I had a lot of fun with my 360. I've also had a lot of fun with my PlayStation 3, and when I choose which console to play in my living room, I choose the PlayStation 3 more often than not, because I don't pay for Xbox Live. It doesn't make sense to me to pay $5 a month for a service I'm only going to get to use a couple of times in a month because my time is limited. The PlayStation 3 is free, so therefore I go there. When I want to play a game that's going to be online, Injustice, for whatever, I play it on my PlayStation 3. But I still love my Xbox. I've loved it since I had it. It was my Rock Band machine. It was my GTA machine. It was my Red Dead Redemption machine. It did what I wanted it to do. I think Red Dead Redemption, I might have got that on the PlayStation. but I think I got it on the Xbox. And I loved everything that it did. I loved the fact that I could borrow a game, I could loan out a game, I could download a game, I could trade my games, I could rent games, I could try it before I bought it. It did everything my Super Nintendo did. It does everything that my 3DS, my Wii U, my PlayStation 3, everything I currently have does. And the Xbox One has downgraded. I can't understand how they don't. It's a right that I've had for 30 years. The Wii U, right now, exactly the same. I can do all of that. They are taking full advantage of online capacity. You can get DLC. They've got an online store. You can do everything you want to online. They patch their games. They've got it right. It's basically a better 360 in a lot of ways. It doesn't have as much game support, certainly, but it's got a lot of functionality the 360 doesn't. It was a step up from the 360s. That's why I bought it. Okay, I thought it would be something that I'd play with for a year, and I'd get some exclusive games 2 or 3 years down the road. I'd use it to watch TV for a while until the Xbox came out, and then I would switch over to the Xbox or maybe the PlayStation 4. And now I'm at a point where I may not buy a new console at all. I may stick to PC gaming and the Wii U and my 3DS and my iPad, all of which have better functionality than the new Xbox One. Okay, so let's get into the details and why I'm pissed. Play games. Here's a list. We're going to go down a list of the things that the Xbox One does differently than the 360 and why you may reconsider buying it. First off, it won't play games unless you connect to the internet once every 24 hours. Well, Boogie, that's not a big deal. I have access to the internet. I live in a city. I'm fairly stationary. That's not a big deal to me. Okay, here's who it is a big deal to. Somebody who just moved into a new apartment or new house, a student, for example, who won't have their internet turned on for a week or two. For poor people who can't afford a high-speed or broadband internet package and has a lower end. For people in rural areas who don't have high-end internet available. And more importantly to me, men and women overseas specifically are a fighting force. Now, you may not like soldiers. Some people don't. I do. Because they do a service that I'm not capable or willing to do. They serve our country for better or for worse, and they save each other's lives. They protect each other. They risk their lives every day for a minimal amount of pay. And at the end of a hard day of watching each other's backs, of trying to set up a base in Afghanistan, of whatever it is they do, some of them like to come back to their base, which may not have very good internet access, may not have it at all, and sit down and play a little bit of Madden with their friends. Play a little bit of split-screen Halo. And now that's not an option with one. If you are a soldier and you are constantly moving, if you are overseas, if you do not have access to good internet, if you are on a boat, you do not get to play your Xbox One after 24 hours has passed until the next time you can connect to the internet. And it has been even stated, I hate to quote this, but I read it somewhere today in a comment section that I can't find the official quote, that the Xbox One is just simply not for overseas people. Heartbreaking to me to exclude our soldiers, but that's fine. This even includes single-player games, by the way, which makes no sense to me. If it's an online game, obviously you need online access. For BioShock Infinite, there's no reason I shouldn't be able to just plug that into my console, play it without internet access, have fun, and be done with it. You cannot disconnect the Kinect sensor. Now, the press release today came out and said, you can turn off the Kinect sensor, which is nice. Okay, I get it. But you have to leave it connected. And that raises a lot of questions. Why? Well, there's certain functionality. Can't I use a remote? Can't I use my controller to go ahead and use the system the way that I have always used the system? I don't want a Kinect in my house. I don't want to buy one when I buy an Xbox One. I don't want to have it gathering data. I don't want facial recognition. I don't want to use it. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want the fucking thing. And most of the people I know feel that way. And yeah, okay, in the magic sci-fi world where I get to walk into my living room and be like, Xbox on, Xbox TV, Xbox, what time is it? Xbox, what time is my girlfriend coming over? Xbox, show me porn, okay, that's great. Like, but that's not how it's going to work. And if it does, I'll eat my own ass. Live on YouTube, okay? Well, instead, it's going to be buggy and crappy and not that great, and the functionality is going to be and maybe they'll patch it, and maybe they'll get it up to that point, but the reality of it is, I just don't want it. Plus, I'm too fat for it to even recognize me. So it's even worse for me. Well, you can turn it off. Well, great. Then let me disconnect it. Let me throw it out the window. Well, no, it won't work. Why? Because sometimes some features are going to force it to turn on. What are those features? Why? I have no clue. But I do know this. My Wii U has a camera. Doesn't spy on me, doesn't watch. Turn it off, put a piece of black tape over it. Doesn't care what you do to it. Doesn't care. Doesn't do anything. Literally, put a piece of tape on it. Done forever. Plus, it doesn't have to connect to the internet. That's a pretty good function. You can't lend your games to anybody. Well, let's talk about that one more time. Social aspect of games gone. Financial aspect of games gone. You can't afford to buy the new game. You don't get it. You can't rent it. You can't get it from Redbox. This excludes poor people. This is, at the end of the day, a war on poor people. Because follow the money. They want to squeeze every single dime out of you that they can. Whether it's through DLC or online fees or pay to play or pay to win, or it doesn't matter. There's so many different ways. And this is just the latest iteration of that. You can't lend your games to your friends. You can lend it one time to somebody who's been on your friend list for 30 days. You can't sell your game to your friend. That's just right out. You can't rent the games. You can trade games freely, but only through pre-approved retailers. Now, just last week, I created a video talking about what's wrong with GameStop and why it's dangerous to do that. And it's because the publisher's not getting a chunk of the fee. So now, in order to become a pre-approved retailer, one can only presume that you're going to have to make an agreement that you're going to be kicking back some to the publisher. Well, that sounds great, Boogie. That sounds great for the publisher. It sounds great for the industry. It is to an extent. Except, there's three huge aspects here that just burns the living shit out of me. The first of which is trade-in value. A game comes out, it's worth 60, maybe 70. Let's go 60. Game comes out, it's worth 60. Right now, GameStop will give you 35. Slightly more than half value, right? Except now they've got to kick back to the publisher, so that 35 becomes 25. But since it's only pre-approved companies that allow you to do it, like Best Buy and GameStop, there's less competition in your area. Therefore, let's make it 15. Because what else are you going to do with it? You can't give it away. You can't sell it to anybody. We're your only option. No more independent game shops. Right here in Fayetteville, by the way, in the town that I live in, Fayetteville, Arkansas, there's Game Exchange, which has several stores in the area. There's Vintage Stock, which has several stores in the area. These guys sell a variety of used games all the way back to the Atari 2600. There's another store called Tradewin Games. Go to their Facebook page. Tell them Boogie said hi if you like. And what they do there is they have a bunker in the back. You can go into the back, and they've got several Xboxes set up, several screens, several copies of the latest fighting game or the latest shooter, and they hold tournaments. And on your way out of the game, you can sell your games, you can buy new games, buy used games and new games, but used games mostly. And it's a wonderful experience. That place dies if the Xbox One is the only way to do business. The worst part of this is that we create an internet dark age for games. This is the one that gets me. This is the one that absolutely destroys me. If I want to play Combat for the Atari 2600, I can go to Vintage Stock right now. I can go to eBay right now. If I want to play Super Mario for the NES, I can do it right now. Very simple. If I want to play SimCity for the SNES, I can play it right now. Go find a copy on eBay, find it from a friend, find it from the internet. What happens to Halo 5 10 years down the road when the Xbox One no longer exists, the Xbox 2, presumably, I don't know what they're going to call the next one, is not backwards compatible because they have yet to make a backwards compatible console. How do I play a copy of Halo 5? I acquire one of the mini discs and I put it into an Xbox One, and those servers are going to be up forever? No. Once it's no longer profitable, the Xbox One will no longer be supported. And when that's no longer supported, the Xbox exclusives, because the ones made for PlayStation, the Wii U, 3DS, the ones, the multi-platform ones, they'll still be around. You'll still be able to find a PlayStation 4 copy. You will, especially with cloud gaming. If the game is in a cloud, it's gone forever. World of Warcraft will die when those servers go down. It's gone forever. And that's heart-wrenching for gaming historians, for people who plan to game for the rest of their lives. EverQuest is still around and I can go visit it, but one day that's not going to happen. That important chapter of my life will be gone. But that only affects a few million people. What happens when every game made for the Xbox One disappears? So, what do we do? Well, all of these decisions are software decisions. None of this is hardwired into the Xbox. The Xbox is a disk drive, a GPU, and a CPU. Okay? Everything else is software. They can change any of these decisions. They can change any of these policies. If you have ever loved your Xbox, you owe it to yourself not to buy a launch copy of the Xbox One. I'm going to probably buy one so that I can review it, I can demonstrate it. I'll probably even smash it apart with Francis. Don't follow suit. Don't do what I do. I will be doing myself a disservice. Wait 6 months. Wait a year. Let them know that these decisions are not decisions you support. Let them know that you will not settle for this. Be loud about it. Complain on your favorite website, complain on your Twitter feed, complain on your social media sites. Discourage other people you know to give in. Discourage other people you know to buy it until they make some better changes. It's as simple as that. Right now, we have an opportunity to change gaming history. And 6 months ago, I said, let's try to get rid of Xbox Live fees. That's what I wanted. Now we need to change so much more. Because if they get away with this, then every console from here on out will be this way. Your children and your children's children are going to play games this way. It's not right. It's not fair. It's not fun. It's not the gaming I grew up with. It's not the gaming you deserve to grow up with. You know? I don't know. But I will tell you this, it's breaking my heart, and I really hope that Wii U continues to do what they're doing. I really hope my 3DS continues to be awesome. I hope the PlayStation 4 is completely bereft of any of this shit. And I hope Xbox realizes that we're not just fucking cows that can be milked of money. We're human beings who have rights. We are consumers. And at the end of the day, as entitled as we may sound, the customer is always right. Well, most of the time.